Yo, what is going on, everybody? This is Makai, so we're back for another My Hero Academia All Justice video. All characters revealed for My Hero Academia All Justice so far, so I want to go through the trailer and the producer as well as the screenshots on the website, and to let you guys know how many characters have been revealed or seen in this game thus far, so we have a realistic idea of how many characters we have thus far, and to give an idea of how many more characters to come. Now, the latest trailer for My Hero had revealed several characters. Some we were told that were playable, like the 20 students, and others we seen glimpses of. I'll be going over all these characters, and I'll just be talking about some things that you might have seen and might not. If you do enjoy videos for this game or for anime games, make sure you guys are subscribed. Let's try to get 50 likes on this video. Let's hop into the video. Now, at the start of the trailer, we see Deku. Deku's wearing his Zeta costume, and this is the costume we seen him in the final part of the anime. Now, Deku is using the one for all, the gear shift, all the powers together. We've already seen that. Now, Bakugo appears next, and he's wearing his Strife Panzer outfit, so this is a different Bakugo in a way, and Bakugo's even shown using his cluster later in the trailer. Now, we could make the argument that maybe Bakugo will have a form change, but I'll be actually talking about this in a separate video when we talk about all the possible forms that the characters could have in relation to the rising system. Now, continuing from there, Shigaraki All For One is shown fighting against Bakugo. He's then later shown using, or in his defense form, the mutated form, and since this doesn't appear to be a transformation similar to what we saw with All Might and Deku, I'm not too sure if this is an awakening or if it's a story mode only thing. Like, heck, it could be a separate character slot for all we know, or it could be just a simple story mode only fight. Then Ida and then Shoto are shown. Shoto in particular is shown in his phosphor form. We do get a brief gameplay depiction of Shoto in the producer video, and in that, Shoto is in his regular form. Hair is not up like he's a Super Saiyan, so that's how I know he's not in a awakened form, but like the other character, Bakugo, I'll be going over that in a separate video, so again, subscribe. Now, Ochako and Froppy are showcased. We already know all the students of the Class 1A have been shown, but those two did show up because, again, play a role, final art. Toga is showcased. Now, Toga is also shown in the portrait in the art that we saw with Dabi and Shigaraki, so that already tells us that Dabi's playable, Shigaraki's playable. We already knew this. Now, Twice is also shown in the trailer, though the implication here could be that Toga is using Twice's powers. So in that regard, it's not actually 100% certain if Twice is going to be in the game, though I'm pretty sure they'll just take him from the previous game. Now, we get a montage of the remaining Class 1A students, each of them posing, and it's interesting because some students, such as like the Sugar Rush guy, you might not even have to think too much of how he would fight, but then you have characters like Invisible Girl, I can't pronounce her name. It begs the question of how she's going to fight, or how will they even depict her? Will they depict her how she was when she got hit by the light, or are they going to depict her where like you just see floating hands and gloves? Because I can see that just tripping people up when it comes to the hitbox and stuff, but we'll see how the devs work with that. Now, as mentioned, on the art cover itself, we have Dabi in All For One. However, All For One in particular has his helmet on. Dabi is shown on the site also, and he's actually being beaten by Shoto, similar to the anime. Now, All For One is shown later in his prime in the same trailer, fighting against All Might, who's armored. Weakened All Might can be seen also in this artwork. Now, towards the end, we do see armored All Might. He has the aura around him, and he is fighting against a all for one in his younger form or prime form. One could make the argument that since he has this aura around him, does that imply that Weakened All Might would be an actual playable character who then goes into this form? Or I feel like it makes more sense if it's just Armored All Might at the start, but that blue aura around, if that's the awakening mechanic, again, just throwing shit out there, you know, just think. Anyway, so taking all this into account, we currently know that 20 characters are playable from class 1A, that's all of them. Then next we know that Shikaragi's playable, but he seems to have 2 slots, that will make it 22. Then one for all for one, and Toga is playable from what we can tell, making it 23. Twice is implied to be playable. Dabi is playable, making it 25 once you also include Twice. All for one, both old and prime is shown, and it's implied both are playable, making it 27. All Might Armored is shown, bringing the number to 28. Now I could make the assumption of other characters, but just based upon what we got, we know from this trailer in the producer video that we have 26 characters but 28 possible slots. I made a roster prediction for the game just to talk about who could be playable based upon what I thought. You know, some people are like, yeah, this character was DLC, they were in the other game, and I'm like, yeah, my fault. Like, that's the only thing I can say. Like, I have both games, but you know, you're gonna make a mistake, so it's just my fault, gang. Now, I did break down some characters that I believe will be in the game, as that's a roster prediction. This is simply going over all the characters we have seen in the trailer thus far, so trying to keep it to that. Now, in a future video, I will be talking about not only what we've seen so far with this game, but I want to compare what we've gotten so far to the previous My Hero Once Justice games to come to a conclusion. Also, I'm going to be talking about the forms that I believe we'll see in this game, and then on top of that, I do also want to talk about some other stuff, because look, anime games are great when they first get announced, but there is a pattern that we oftentimes fall into and we always get caught slipping, and that's the optimistic path where we believe everything is going to be roses and daisies, and then once we get hit, then we're like, oh wow, we should have saw it coming. Happened with Bleach, happened with Dragon Ball, happened with Naruto. It happens all the time, and if there's anything this game must need, you need this in the game, let me know, because even though I made that video, I'm sure there's more things that I missed out on that people must see. And then of course, I do want to talk about the team system that we now have the ability to switch out. Definitely just subscribe, turn on notifications. That being said, I am Akai, what yo, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.